Welcome back to the Hall of Origins. I think it's time we took a look at a character from the Disney parks. Pirates of the Caribbean, one of the most iconic rides Disney has ever come up with. I don't need to talk about how great this ride is. I love it, you love it, we all love Pirates of the Caribbean, right? But let's take a look back at its planning stages. Now, back when this project was being started, the most crucial thing the ride needed was lots and lots of pirates. And for that, Mark Davis, Disney animator turned Imagineer, created various character designs. Look at these treasures! I have always loved Mark Davis's art. I could look at these for hours. But the one I want to talk about today is the auction scene, which features the iconic and fan favorite, the Redhead. Now, one of the other concept drawings for the ride was a drawing of a female pirate known as Anne Bonny. Irish in descent, back in the 1700s, she became one of the most famous female pirates of the Caribbean. Now, why am I bringing her up? Well, it was said that the design for the Redhead was inspired by Mark Davis's design of Anne Bonny. Remember that, because I'm going to bring it up later. But right now, let's take a look at the scene in which the Redhead became famous for, the auction scene. A giant tarp is hung up that reads, "Take a winch for a bride." Several of the town's women have been taken captive with the intent of selling them off. This is where we find the Redhead. Also in the scene is the auctioneer pirate running the whole event, and he is currently trying to sell the woman standing a few feet next to him. But the pirates on the other side of the river are having none of it and keep yelling, "We wants the Redhead!" And honestly, it doesn't seem like the Redhead is against this, seeing as how she's lifting up her skirt for all the excited pirates to see, causing the auctioneer to say this line, "Strike your colors, you brazen wench, no need to expose your superstructure." Which, kind of makes me wonder, what exactly was the Redhead up to before all this went down? I mean, if you look at most of the citizens of Isla Tesoro, it is clearly late into the night, with the majority sporting their sleepwear, and yet the Redhead is fully clothed like she is ready for an exciting evening on the town. That, combined with her flirtatious nature, can we assume that the Redhead is, in the most polite term, a lady of the night? I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's what it looks like. Anyways, so it's always been suggested, but not really confirmed, that the beginning of the ride, when you travel through the cave, you're seeing the present, where all the pirates have died, or are cursed, and once you make it out of the caves into the ship battle scene, you're now in the past. It has been heavily implied that this painting you see in the caverns is the Redhead, meaning that one of the pirates at the auction scene probably purchased her and instead of winding up as his possession, became a pirate herself. Kind of an interesting story element, huh? So for many decades, the Redhead became a beloved character all throughout Disneyland. All sorts of merchandise was created depicting her, and she even wound up appearing in Curse of the Black Pearl, where instead of the Redhead, she goes by Scarlet. And she appeared again in the Legend of Jack Sparrow show at Hollywood Studios. The Redhead is being seduced by Jack Sparrow when, of course, he eventually gets slapped. It's kind of funny that whenever these two characters are together, Jack gets slapped. So for the Redhead in the ride, nothing really changed. The scene with her, the auctioneer, and the pirates yelling, "We wants the Redhead," stayed as it was. That is, until 2017. It was announced that the original auction scene would be retooled to make it more acceptable by today's standards. The thought of trafficking women was seen as problematic. And rightfully so, it isn't a good thing, but some would argue that we're talking pirates here. They aren't exactly the best role models, so having them doing things like buying women would be seen as in character for them. However, Disney thought it best to change it anyway. Though I don't believe anyone really complained, it was more about someone might complain about it, and they were just getting ahead of the curve. And this meant either changing or getting rid of the Redhead entirely. People went nuts online and started petitions to keep the auction scene as it was. There was even actual booing when the subject was brought up at D23 during the Pirates of the Caribbean 50th anniversary panel.
There are some changes occurring right now that's been a little bit in the news lately. And, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of...
You can even hear someone scream, "We want the Redhead."
Walt said that Disneyland would always change and never...
Dang. People were very passionate about this. This preservation attempt didn't work, however, and the scene was changed anyway. And thankfully, the Redhead remained, but was changed into becoming a pirate herself, with the new title of Red the Pirate. And now, instead of women being auctioned off, it's the town's stolen items, and the auctioneer is currently trying to unload a flock of chickens. But instead of shouting, "We wants the redhead," the pirates now shout for rum. That's just so funny. It's like nothing goes right for the auctioneer. It's all like, "Hey everybody, you wanna buy this lady? Nah, we wants the redhead. Hey everybody, you wanna buy these chickens? Nah, we wants rum." He just cannot win. But back to the redhead. Instead of just creating a brand new character, you could see that Red was clearly still the redhead, just flushed out a little more. Almost like this was the redhead after she became a pirate. And I also love that they kept the mole on her right cheek. It's a little bit hard to see in photos, but it's there. Just a little nod to how the character originally looked. Remember how I said that the original redhead design was inspired by Mark Davis's depiction of Anne Bonny? Well, now it's like they're going all the way with it. Just like Anne Bonny, Red the pirate was given an Irish accent.
Send in Sir Davy Jones. It's the rum they want. Drink up the artist. Yo-ho!
That's voice actor Grey DeLisle doing her voice, and she's done lots of work for Disney in the past. Some of her roles include Gliss from Tinkerbell's Secret of the Wings, Captain Marvel in the animated Avengers Assemble, Black Cat in the 2017 animated Spider-Man, and Dewdrop in Onward, among many others. Along with her change came a new walk-around character. Yeah, you can now meet Red in person, which I made sure to do.
So how are things being a pirate now?
Well, when you're the wealthiest pirate in Tortuga, it's hard to complain, you know.
Ah, it's a great life, I'm sure.
Oh, of course it is. It's a pirate's life for me.
To honor the event, they even released these cards to commemorate Red's arrival. I had one of these, but I donated it to the Walt Disney Hometown Museum in Marceline. So if you ever go there and see this card on display, that one used to be mine. Now, going back to the controversy, I will be 100% honest. I was against the change up until the very moment I went on the ride after the alterations. But then when I saw the new impressive animatronic in action, I was like, okay, she actually looks pretty cool. And it really didn't mess with the overall feel of the ride, so yeah, the change wasn't that bad at all. And the original Redhead is still around, being taken care of in the Disney archives, so that's a good thing. So it just goes to show you that not all change is a bad thing. It's like Walt Disney said, that Disneyland will never be finished. There's always going to be changes and alterations, and I actually feel that this one was a really good one. So, here's to you, Red. May you be a part of the Disney parks for many years to come.